Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We've been breaking down the 5 biggest games for every Power 5 conference, and now we've only got one conference left, the ACC. And you look at the ACC, they've gone away with divisions, but there's only a handful of true contenders that could challenge for a top 2 spot in the conference to play for an ACC title, which made finding 5 big games within the conference kind of difficult. But we found them. They're all big. They're all going to have major conference implications. They may even have college football playoff implications. So let's go ahead and get right down to it. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, because here at the Gridiron Expert, guys, college football never dies. The season never ends here at our channel, and we want you to take advantage of that. We want you to just become a part of our conversation, become part of our discussion, and become a part of our GE Nation and what we're building here at our channel. We want you to become a part of that. And you can do that by liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting that notification button so you don't miss out on any of our future content going forward, including game-by-game predictions for every single college football team coming up in just about a month or so. Do not want to miss out on that. But take a look at the ACC. 5 biggest games. They're pretty spread out, at least the ones that we picked. But ironically, they're spaced out, but the first one comes in week 1, September 4th. It's going to be that Labor Day Monday. So the only college football game, the way that week 1 of the season is going to conclude, it will be with Clemson at Duke. That will be the game that week 1 concludes with, the Clemson at Duke. And it's a big game. Why? Because it's a sneaky trap game that could completely alter the course of the entire college football season. How, you may ask? Well, Clemson, of course, is a college football playoff contender, believe it or not. They always are under Dabo Swinney. Well, now they're going to a Duke team that won 9 games last year. A Duke team that returns quite a bit of talent from the team that won 9 games last year, including their star quarterback and Riley Leonard. They're getting to host a Clemson team that's breaking in a brand new quarterback in Cade Klubnik that, yes, played plenty last year, ACC championship, the Orange Bowls, things like that. But a guy in Cade Klubnik that doesn't have that much experience, doesn't have that much help around him offensively right now, and has a brand new offensive coordinator in Garrett Riley, who was a great hire, but how well will they all mesh in their first game? This is not a game that Clemson can overlook. They don't get the benefit of playing a cupcake team to break in all the new pieces. They've got to go to Duke, and Duke has an upset on their mind, and they're facing, again, Duke, a defensive-minded coach, and Mike Elko, that could throw some wrinkles into Clemson's offensive plan. Week 1, sneaky trap game. Beware of the Blue Devils, because if Duke beats Clemson, they shake up the entire ACC race. They shake up the entire college football playoff race before the season really gets started. That's how big that game can be. So watch out September 4th. This is not a game you can afford to overlook. September 23rd, though, that is arguably the biggest game in the conference. The biggest game in the ACC the entire season probably will come on September 23rd when Florida State travels to Death Valley to take on Clemson. These are the 2 favorites in the ACC this year. There's no doubt about it. And some may even say that Florida State is a heavier favorite to win the conference than Clemson, who has ruled the conference for nearly the last decade. But you look at Florida State, obviously a team that won 10 games last year under Mike Norvell. Jordan Travis is back. Practically the entire defense is back. A lot returning for the Seminoles, and have every reason to be hyped and excited for this upcoming season. Clemson, we just mentioned them. Cade Klubnik, a lot of new pieces, and typically a strong defense. Lucky that they're getting to host this game in Death Valley. That's the big benefit that Clemson has right now, that this game is at home for them and they're not having to go to Tallahassee. I will say this could be the first of 2 meetings between Florida State and Clemson. I would not be shocked to see them play on September 23rd and then play again in the ACC championship game. But it should be noted also that while Clemson, some are saying is going to struggle, I don't think they will, but while they could struggle, they have dominated Florida State as of late, winning 7 straight in the series. But the Seminoles are trying to close the gap. Last year was closer, 34-28 victory for Clemson. The year before, a 30-20 victory for Clemson. That game was a 3-point game right at the end before Clemson got that touchdown in the end zone, fumbled the hook and ladder. They recovered it in the end zone to give it a 10-point victory. Florida State's coming. The gap is thinning between Florida State and Clemson. This game is going to be a factor to say whether the gap is gone and Florida State can overtake Clemson, or Clemson's going to hold on to it just for a little while longer. This is the game you have to have circled if you're an ACC fan. November 11th. So we go from September all the way to November when it comes to our top 5 biggest games. And there's actually 2 big games on November 11th. The first one is Duke at North Carolina. Duke and North Carolina. This is no longer a must-see basketball game. This year, to me, it's a must-see football game. This is going to be a lot of fun, guys. Riley Leonard of Duke, Drake May of North Carolina, and two teams that could legitimately contend for a top 2 spot in the ACC standings. There's no doubt about it. These are two teams that could contend for a spot in the ACC championship game. And also, if you love offense, this is going to be the game for you. I mean, a UNC team that lights it up significantly and a Duke team that really was starting to line it up as the year went on last year and now should be even better in year 2 under Mike Elko. North Carolina won last year 38-35. They have won the last 4 over Duke, but it should be noted that 4 of the last 7 games have been decided by 1 possession. So if anything else, if you don't like either of these teams, at least watch it because of the rivalry, because of the potential for offense and the potential for a very close game. On November 11th, Miami takes on Florida State. So another big-time rivalry game there. Always, to me, must-see TV out on the gridiron when the Hurricanes take on the Seminoles. Hopefully, this game means something this year. In recent years, Miami's played Florida State, but neither team's been very good, or only one of them has been very good, and it just hasn't meant much. Hopefully, Miami shows up this year, because I think Florida State's going to be the real deal this year. I genuinely do. But if the Hurricanes aren't anything, Florida State might run away with this like they did last year when they beat the Hurricanes 45-3. Ouch. In a rivalry game, that hurts. That's embarrassing. I don't think that'll be the case this year. I think Mario Cristobal fixes things a little bit at the U. I'm not saying that Miami's going to be up there in the contention for an ACC title. We kind of make that mistake every year where we overhype Miami and they fall well short of expectations. But if they are playing good ball at this point, this is a potential top 25 matchup. This is a game we're going to want to watch out for because it will have major ACC standing implications and major ACC title implications. These two teams, guys, have split the last 8 meetings, 4-4. 5 of the last 8 have been decided by 1 possession. So at the least, you should get another at least close game here. And it might be one of those things where Miami's not all that good, but Florida State is, and the Hurricanes are looking to play spoiler for one of their biggest rivals. So all the more reason to keep an eye on it. And then finally, guys, the 5th biggest game of the year in the ACC comes on November 18th, 1 week after those 2 we just mentioned. North Carolina at Clemson, a rematch of the ACC championship game from last year where Clemson torched the Tar Heels 39-10. Should be a completely different story this year. North Carolina was severely outmatched. Their defense was downright atrocious, and Cade Klubnik torched them. Cade Klubnik went out there, he replaced DJ Uyunglele and torched them and gave Clemson the offensive spark they needed. This year, Klubnik's going to be the full-time starter. North Carolina's still going to have Drake May, and hopefully North Carolina has fixed their defense up a little bit to where it's a little bit better than it was last year, and it's going to be hard to get much worse, honestly. So, in theory, the only way is up for UNC's defense. But in Death Valley, a battle between 2 teams that are going to be jockeying for spots in those top 2. I do believe North Carolina and Clemson obviously both will be ACC title contenders. This is an opportunity, again, for both to make it a statement victory, to maybe improve playoff resumes, or at least to keep their title hopes alive. And I would say that's going to be the case more so for North Carolina than for Clemson, because I feel like Clemson's going to be in a better spot at this point in the season, I would think, than North Carolina will be. So, but it's going to be fun to watch. 2 great quarterbacks going at it, 2 young quarterbacks going at it, potentially a lot of offense, and hopefully a game that is closer than the ACC championship that we saw last year. Hopefully will live up to the hype better than that ACC championship game we saw last year. Going to be in Death Valley, the penultimate game of the year for both teams. Going to be a really, really fun one to watch. And again, a game that has major implications at this point in the season. So there you go, guys. The ACC, yeah, there are only a handful of contenders. Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina are probably your top 3, but you never know who could come out of the darkness, guys. A guy like Miami, maybe a Duke, maybe a Louisville. You don't know in what is really a wide-open ACC, and an ACC that no longer has divisions. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in the Atlantic. So you got to watch out, guys. It's going to be a fun conference to keep your eye on. Maybe not too many marquee games as compared to the other conferences, but still some that can not just shape the outcome of the ACC, but shape the outcome of the college football playoff picture as well. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching us here on the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below because we want you to become a part of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.